looking straight. Oh, sleepy old Joe Biden, no creepy old Joe Biden. Boy, I'm beefing with Joe Biden. Let me teach you about Joe Biden. He'll smell your kids, he takes your checks, and then he run off all excited. He a bitch, he needs some rest, he's dumb as fuck. Boy, I ain't voting for Joe Biden.
Our history is forever lost. We have to pay money to find out our history. And when I talk about this shit, make me so sad. It almost make me shed tears because sometimes I still look at pictures to this day and see a black man hung when his hands tied behind his back with fire coming up off his feet. I'm like, God damn, how many ways you trying to kill him? He already can't free himself, but you still put fire on his feet too? When I look at that, that's my people. He could, the generation down, that could somebody be a relative to me. I always think about what have we done as a species or as people. What have we done so much for people to hate us? Why? Why? What? Why? I don't understand it. And for that reason of me not understanding, I know a lot of people don't understand it. And if you ain't lived in it, or if you ain't lived in the skin like this, you'll never understand it. That's why I speak for it.
And I appreciate the World Economic Forum providing me the opportunity to be on this stage and say, fuck you, Klaus Schwab, and fuck your New World Order. We, the people, were born free, we will stay free, and you and all of your globalist friends, including everyone in this room, can go fuck yourself.
The tomb of this king worth $5 trillion has finally been found in Africa. The richest man to ever live on planet Earth is a black king from Mali called Mansa Musa. There have been hieroglyphs and ancient texts depicting that his resting place was buried deep inside a mountain system. Just 3 days ago, based off this information, a team of archaeologists have finally stumbled upon his tomb, completely covered in gold like nothing ever seen before. The man was so rich that everywhere he would go, he would give away gold. We're not talking gold coins. He would give away entire gold bars to people. The reason he was so rich is due to the gold and salt deposits in the ancient Mali Empire. At that time, it is said that Mali held over half of the world's gold. In fact, Mansa was once on a pilgrimage to Mecca, and once he passed through Egypt, it is said that he bankrupted the entire Egyptian economy. Every poor person he saw, he would give them gold. And the reason this completely bankrupted the Egyptian economy is because if everyone has what they need and no one is lacking anything, an economy cannot function as everything is already available to everyone. Egypt took over 10 years to recover from his trip. Comment your thoughts.
To be honest, I think it's very weird and it's becoming almost morbid that nothing mainstream is actually reflecting the times. When you look back at the 70s, the last time this Aquarian energy was on Earth, right? Where people were, make love, not war, right? And we were fighting for something. We were fed up. The art reflected the times. They was not singing about brown booties and coochies while we was protesting in the streets. The fact that nothing at the forefront is reflecting what's actually happening in the world is blowing my mind. It will send you into a psychosis because you don't feel validated, bitch. I'm gonna be honest. The first time I ever heard Pow Tow on the radio, bitch, I almost went into a psychosis. I did. I'm just being for real. I had heard it on TikTok and it was funny, because it's TikTok. I was like, oh, Pow Tow, this is funny as shit. But then one day I was leaving the grocery store. I was already having a bad day. Y'all know when them days hit where the bills all hit at once? You start questioning everything, why the fuck I gotta pay for water? Why I gotta pay for apples and oranges? Why I gotta pay for electricity? It was also around the time it was a chicken shortage or eggs were hella expensive. All of the egg farmers were talking about how their chickens weren't producing and it was a conspiracy about the chicken feed. It was a lot happening. And I went to the store and I remember feeling very manic because I'm like, why the fuck are these eggs $7? And I just started thinking about homeless people and just the world. And I got in the car on the brink of tears, bitch. Turned on the radio. And there it was. My coochie pink, my booty hole. And this ain't Sexy Red's fault, but you see the disconnect? They're trying to force people into slave labor. The elderly are on the street, baby, because their Social Security is no longer covering their rent. Why is nobody talking about the shit that matter?
This right here is Black history, and it's going to change the way we connect with our past. My name is Brother Legend, and I'm here to raise your consciousness. These dots you see behind me are carefully curated articles of people, places, and events in Black history. This is Sunkofopedia, a free online encyclopedia where you can learn about anything that has to do with Afrocentrism and the African perspective and worldview. For example, one of those dots that you saw moving around leads to Malcolm X. When you go on this page, you'll learn about who he was, what he stood for, and who else he was connected with. But you'll learn about him from an unapologetic Afrocentric perspective. You know, the stuff they leave off Wikipedia. But this is what sets us apart from Wikipedia. When you go on his page, you'll be able to see connections he had to other great scholars and Pan-Africans. You'll find different organizations and movements. Never in history has Black history been assembled like this before. So not only are you viewing Black history, but you're watching Black people make Black history.
If I know that in this hotel room, they have food every day, and I'm knocking on the door every day to eat, and they open the door, let me see the party, let me see like them throwing salami all over just like throwing food around, but they're telling me there's no food in here. You know what I'm saying? Every day, I'm standing outside trying to sing my way in. You know what I'm saying? We are hungry, please let us in. We are hungry, please let us in. After about a week, that song was gonna change to we hungry, we need some food. After 2-3 weeks, it's like, give me all the food, breaking out the door. And after a year, then you just like, you know what I'm saying? I'm picking the lock, coming through the door, blasting, you know what I'm saying? It's like you hungry, you reached your level, you don't want any more. We asked 10 years ago. We was asking with the Panthers. We was asking with them, the civil rights movement. We was asking, Now those people that were asking, they're all dead and in jail. So now what do you think we're gonna do? Ask?
That interview is nearly 30 years old. Are we gonna pick the lock or no?
DJ Southside walk it out. We at it again, baby. Northside walk it out. Here we go. Now walk it out. 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 Now westside walk it out. Now southside walk it out. Eastside walk it out. Northside walk it out. Now hit the dance floor. Hey, bend your back low.
What do you think needs to be changed in the way that Black men are policed in America?
Leave that up with the critics and the laws and all that other shit. We having fun, we iced out, we having money. That's how we doing it.
So you feel like it's not the artist's place to speak on social issues?
No.
Jeffrey does not lose his life. Jeffrey goes to jail for crimes that he's actually tied to. They did not come for YSL for their lyrics. They came for YSL for the actual crimes that were taking place in Metro Atlanta that these people were suspects of. It just so happens to be that those crimes that they have you paired for, you idiots have been bragging about in your lyrics for the past 8 years. And so it's supposed to make sense to me that you're getting taken down for shit that you actually were involved in. And you want so-called Black people to stand up for you. Yet when the innocent people were losing their lives to social injustice, you made it clear that you did not give a f about the so-called Black people. So tell Kevin Liles and the rest of your team that they can hop on 285 and get the fuck out of town.
How did we get to a point where we treated other human beings as slaves and we're okay with that? When I see the Make America Great Again, my comment is, do you accept that could possibly be construed as a racist remark? And most people, a lot of people go, how could that be racist? Make America great again? I said, so just ask yourself from an African-American experience, when was it ever great in America for the African-American? When was it great? So if you're making it great again, it's not including them. So it's to teach us in the woke world to open up and accept the possibilities that our privilege has created blind spots for us. And maybe I haven't seen what is really happening yet in all my years.
That's why Michael Jackson was killed, because he was going to go on a world tour talking about they don't really care about him. Right? Singing all his classic songs that was always against them. Michael Jackson was always against him. The Villa Lago shit was lies. They injected him with a disease. And then they slaughtered his image. They tried to kill Michael Jackson in 1984 when they set his fucking hair on fire at the fucking Pepsi commercial. People forget that. That was an assassination attempt. It didn't work. So what they did, they killed his image. Michael Jackson spent the rest of his life being looked at as somebody that's trying to be white because they injected him with the disease, and that he was this pedophile / rapist. That's how we looked at Mike all the way till he left this motherfucker. Destroyed his whole legacy. It wasn't until he left that people remember, like, oh, that's Mike and what he did. And then went back and listened to what he was thinking about and what he was trying to say and why they attacked him like that. Because we wasn't as woke as we are today. Stay with me.
Say, Jim, you think I could ever float like a butterfly? Bam, well, sting like a bee? Well, you got the butterfly part down, Brother Michael, in the same little street to complete the cycle. But before you can sting people out of their wits, you gotta put on some meat and people eat your grits. Man, you cold, man.
Ah, shit. Let's talk about the best things you could do to help yourself during these situations. Because let me tell you, this external shit is not gonna stop. It is not gonna slow down. And I'm gonna be real, I don't know what we can do to help externally to stop them from doing this shit. But one thing you do have in control is what you do for yourself internally. If you start taking care of yourself now, you can prepare yourself for all the external shit they're trying to throw at you. This is where being conscious of your health comes into a big play. Because yes, you might get affected, but since you've been taking care of your body beforehand, your body has the strength to fight whatever it goes against. So if you're already building your respiratory strength by taking mullein leaf or marshmallow root, yeah, you might have felt something, but you're not gonna die. You've been strengthening your organs with these herbs. Understand, war is inevitable to happen. It's a part of life. You have to have the strength to be able to hold your ground when war comes at you. But if your organs is weak and your body is weak, when you come across a problem externally, your ass gonna get beat up by it. So understand, this should be a wake-up call for you to start working out not only your mind, but your internal body. Because as y'all can see, shit gets real. And then when shit gets real is when you want to start preparing. But you already should have been prepared. Read the signs, stop playing games, and take your health into your own hands. Strengthen your organs, strengthen your body so you don't gotta worry about none of this shit.
This is what they're banking on. They're banking on us being too tired, malnourished, and depressed to organize. You literally had the CEO of Kellogg's Cereal sitting somewhere in a high ivory tower being like, I know it would be funny if I go on national television and tell them to eat fucking Frosted Flakes for dinner. They're mocking us. They think this is fucking funny. And they believe that they can continue to get away with it because we've not done anything about it yet. And they know that they can keep making shit worse and we still won't do anything about it. And that will be because we're tired, we're not fucking nutritioned enough, and we're so fucking depressed because everything sucks so bad. The only answer to this is community engagement and mass mutual aid. We need to feed one another. We need to help each other out. I work as a nanny. I will watch my neighbors' fucking kids for free. We need to take our time and attention and money away from the corporations and put it into our communities. We massively outnumber them. We just need to work together.
No one has actually sat down and studied the European. No one has gone into looking at the European from an anthropological standard, how they really are, where they really came from. What is the nature of this person? What is the nature of this tribe, this clan, this family? So what I'm going to do is give you a background into nutritional causes of what we call today racism. Now, the Europeans came from somewhere, first of all. They claim they walked from Asia all the way up to Europe, and they established their civilization in Europe. They took a 4,000-mile walk from Asia up to Europe. That is their claim. And they claim their race is from 3 Sanskrit words. That is their claim. But the only thing we have historically to document them is what the facts are. There are a lot of people who claim that they were made and created in a laboratory, the Europeans. There are a lot of people who claim they are a degenerate black person, someone who suffers from a melanin deficiency. That is true. But the facts are they came from somewhere. So we can look at where they came from and what caused them to behave the way they behave, strictly as a science, like you look at any other animal. there are human beings that behave like animals, and then there are animals that behave like human beings. So we're going to look at some animals that behave like human beings. Now, according to, let me go to the chalkboard for a minute. Now, we're going back to maybe 1.5 million years ago. And during that period of time, they had what they call the Ice Age. And that was about 1.5 million years ago.
May I have your attention, please? Workshop Center.
I'll let him pause there.
Dealing with abusive relationships. Room 102. The challenges of international, interracial relationships is in room.
Yes, so we know that the Ice Age started, the most recent one started 1.5 million years ago, and it just stopped about 10,000 years ago. That's when it stopped 10,000 years ago. And the ice receded about 5,000 years ago. And the Europeans entered into history 4,000 years ago. This is when they first recorded this race called the Europeans 4,000 years ago. That was recorded on a pallet, on a mace head in Africa when they first met the Europeans. That's 4,000 years ago. So this is when they entered history. And of course, they entered history violently. And we say they were violent people. Well, they came from the Ice Age. Now, we're in Europe. We're around France, Germany, Sweden, Slavic countries. Those areas are known as glaciated. Glaciated soil, when the ice melts, the ice floods the area, and when it floods, it washes away all the vital nutrients. This is what happened.
The original slaves were white, part 2.
Arabs and the traffic in white slaves. The sale of white slaves to Asia and Africa was one of the few sources of gold for European treasuries. The slaves were usually sows brought across the Alps. In fact, for 700 years until the fall of Muslim Spain, those being herded were first and foremost overwhelmingly white. Before the 10th century, the Muslims generally brought Christian Europeans as slaves. The fate of hundreds of thousands of white slaves sold to Arabs was described in one Spanish text as atrocima ferocima, most atrocious and harsh. The men were worked to death as galley slaves. The women, girls, and boys were used as prostitutes. White males had their genitals mutilated in castration attempts, bloody procedures of incredible brutality which most of the white men who were forced to submit did not survive. Judging from the high prices white eunuchs commanded throughout the Middle Eastern slave markets. Escape from North Africa and the Middle East was almost impossible, and those white slaves who were caught trying to flee were punished by having their noses and ears cut off or worse. White slavery in early America. As late as the 14th and the 15th centuries, continuing shipments of white slaves, some of them Christians, flowed from the booming slave markets on the northern Black Sea coast into Italy, Spain, Egypt, and the Mediterranean islands, from Barbados to Virginia.
For those of you who are visual learners, this is what's been happening the past 135 days of this genocide. Check this out. Remember when they told everybody move down south? It's going to be safer in the south. This is what you call indiscriminately bombing. Watch. Innocent men, women, and children all down there. They keep moving south. Keep telling them to move south. Now they're here. The southernmost tip. Where are they supposed to go? Where are they supposed to?
They can only make money off of sick people, not healthy people. Heart medicine, dandelions, and Roundup. That sounds crazy, right? But you know what? They all fit together like a puzzle. You know why? Those little yellow dandelions that grow in your yard that they tell you to hate, they're terrible. They're actually the greatest thing on the earth for your heart. The enzymes and the electrolytes can literally cleanse and strengthen your heart valves and muscles more than anything else, and it's natural and free. The crazy thing is, the same company that owns the heart medicine, that is the highest sold heart medicine in the entire world, that makes hundreds of millions of dollars a year, is the same exact company that owns Roundup. Yeah.
What's your problem? Man, if a white person call me nigga, not gonna do nothing. You can't even fight. When these boys try to talk to my daughter, bro, your daughter is 2. Man, I'm gonna give me some guns, because if they try to break in the house, you ain't got shit in there, bro. Man, look at how Jada did Will Smith. She this, she that. Look at you and your relationship. You the worst. Our biggest problem is solving problems that ain't our problem.
Kellogg's is having to discount most of their products because people are not buying it anymore after the boycott. For those out of the loop, people started boycotting Kellogg's brand due to its unaffordability because they keep increasing the prices, and the fact that CEO said that people should start eating cereal for dinner in response to everything at the grocery store becoming unaffordable. Well, after that, people have decided that they're not only not going to be eating cereal for dinner, they're also not going to be eating anything that Kellogg's makes for dinner or for any other meal. Because of this boycott, Kellogg's is having trouble selling any of their products at the moment, and grocery stores are starting to discount Kellogg's products to try and get them off of the shelf. But even though they're discounted, people still do not want anything to do with Kellogg's or its CEO. Right now, there are just tons of videos everywhere showing different Kellogg's products such as Eggo, cereal, Cheez-Its, and more, just taking up tons of space on the shelf because nobody wants to buy them anymore. For those that want to join in on this is a small list of some Kellogg's brands that are part of the Kellogg's boycott. If people keep boycotting, it's going to force Kellogg's to lower the prices everywhere, and if we have lower food prices, then everybody...
Now, why y'all didn't tell me that they will not allow you to bring fruit from Jamaica because it has seeds? You can't bring any fruit into the United States with seeds. What is that saying? You can take it anywhere else besides the United States, except the United States. They don't want you to bring any seeded fruit from other areas, you know, other countries. But all the other countries accept fruit with seeds. Now, if you notice that around here in the United States, it's hard to find seeded fruit. You know, growing up, we used to have seeds in all our watermelons. Now it's seedless watermelons and just seedless grapes and all of that. Growing up, we had seeds. Now, you can't find a fruit with seeds. They don't want you to have that because it's healthy for you. That's what you need. You need the seeded fruit. Now everywhere is no seeds because it's healthy. I had a friend to go to Jamaica, their home, and I asked them to bring me some fruit back with seeds, and they wouldn't let them bring it. Why? Because it had seeds. They don't want us to get that. They want us to stay sick over here. That's why so many diseases are here in the United States. More so than anywhere. Because they won't allow us to eat healthy. They don't want us to eat healthy. They don't want us to be healthy. They don't want us to live long. So yeah, y'all didn't tell me that. Y'all didn't tell me that they won't allow you to bring seeded fruit into the United States. Open your eyes. Open your eyes. Right in front of you. It's right here in front of you.
I have a question. Who made the universal decision that we should eat lunch at 12? Who decided that it should take 4 years apiece to finish high school and college? Who made the decision that a minute should be 60 seconds and an hour should be 60 minutes? These are all questions I've been asking myself recently. And I've come to realize that while time itself was created by God, its perception was created by humanity and materialized by these clocks we put on the wall. You see, there's nowhere in this world you can go and not find a clock. And that's because we as society put them there to remind you. You see, society says you should brush your teeth for 2 minutes. Society says you should sleep for 8 hours. Society says you should be done school by 22, have a career by 25, a family by 30, be successful by 40, and retire by 60. You see, we've created this one-size-fits-all timeline for life, thinking we can all wear the same clothes. And when we personally realize that they don't fit, we blame it on ourselves, acting like we've gained weight. Stop letting society's clock dictate when you show up. My time is different from your time. And just because you're not where society says you should be at this point in your life doesn't make you late. It makes you, you.